Welcome. What is up? Welcome to the Mixer, episode 16. How's everybody doing this morning? Um, no Jeff. No Jeff. Don't know where he is. We're supposed to record this morning, but looks like he slipped in. Um, Anywho, so I wanted to touch on some things. This morning, we'll probably get Jeff in here tomorrow, and we'll talk about, the usual stuff. So, we're going to talk about NBA playoffs tomorrow. I figured Jeff will be, he's more of an expert on that. But anywho, don't forget to like and subscribe to us on all of our podcast channels. Comment and feel free to share. We're trying to grow this. The download numbers have increased a little bit, so thank you for everybody's continued support. I appreciate that in this little private endeavor we're doing here. All right, let's just get to it. Baseball, Padres, huge flurry of activity by the Padres at the trade deadline, kind of capped off by acquiring from the Cleveland Indians, Mike Clevinger. They also got a catcher, Austin Nola, from the Mariners. Those are kind of the two big names that have come from all the moves. And then they got a bunch of relief pitchers and I believe a bat or two in there. So and they were able to accomplish this by not giving up too many prospects. In our group chat, I was mentioning, all these names that were being thrown around that the Padres were interested in getting. People were worried about getting rid of top prospects, and I said, there's no way that they can acquire these guys without giving up some of their top prospects. It's better to just accept it now than to hold on to hope. However, they were able to get the deals done. I believe the top prospect that they gave up was Taylor Trammell, and he might have been a top 5 prospect of theirs, but they're still able to keep some of the bigger names like Mackenzie Gore in their minors without having to move him. So they made the team better. Got a top of the rotation pitcher, a catcher who is substantially better than what they had on the team, and they didn't really have to give up much. They gave up some pieces where the team already had as strengths, so they had some depth and made the team just a much more playoff ready force. Sounds like everybody's penciling in the Padres versus the Dodgers in LCS. The Braves might have something to say about that. The Cubs might have something to say about that, but I think you're looking at the 4 contenders right there: Dodgers, Padres, Cubs, and Braves. So only got like a month left of the baseball season. I was looking at the calendar yesterday. There's only a few series. I mean, maybe 6 series. I think they definitely have a series with the Dodgers coming up. They play the A's. They play the Angels twice. They play the Giants. They play the Diamondbacks, I think, because they're always playing the Diamondbacks, it seems. But that's pretty much it. Then it's playoff time, and the playoffs are expanded. So hopefully the Padres get to host. Well, I guess it doesn't even matter because they're talking about creating their own playoff bubble, which is yet to be finalized. But hopefully the Padres get. It's looking like they're going to be the top wild card seed. So I guess they would play the lowest division winner, which probably is the Braves at the moment. So that'll be a good series. We'll see. We'll see. There's still a lot to play out. But yeah, I'm super excited. They picked up Clevinger seemingly at a discount because he had he broke the protocol somehow, the COVID protocol. He went out partying, I guess, and didn't really show much that contrition afterwards. So the I think his teammates were pretty upset about it. So basically, Cleveland was kind of forced to move him. Hopefully, he can keep it under control in a Padres uniform. I don't know. I haven't heard any stories about the Padres breaking protocol. However, with the success they're having, it's hard to believe they're not celebrating somehow. Hopefully, it's either within their own, family bubble or team bubble. Hopefully, they're not going out. Hopefully, they can keep it rolling. It's the last thing we would want to see is this run being derailed by something like that. I don't even want to speak it into existence, but I just did. So sorry about that. Maybe secondarily to the team getting better, the Padres getting better with this move. The second best thing to happen is we no longer have to listen to the Mejia Hedges debate. Hedges was moved as part of these deals. I don't believe Mejia was. I was trying to do some research here, and it didn't look like he was moved. However, he might have been, because the Padres picked up 2 catchers in the deals, and anywho, I was growing tired of the Hedges Mejia debate. In the end, the answer was nobody. Nobody was the answer, which is what I was saying. It's going to a different team. The amount of debate that it caused on Twitter and even in our private group chat was intense to say the least for two mediocre players. It's almost like picking between the current presidential nominations. They're both not great, but I guess get the one that actually does something right. Maybe that's the solution to the U.S.'s problems. We need to put a trade package together and get the prime minister from New Zealand. I wonder what it would take to get her. Maybe if we get like Denzel Washington, Tom Hanks, and who else? J-Lo? No, we got to keep J-Lo. Jennifer Lawrence. There we go. That's a package right there. Denzel Washington, Tom Hanks, Jennifer Lawrence. I think if we offer that to New Zealand, we can get that deal done. Sound off in the comments. I'm trying to come up with solutions here. Anywho, so Padres get better. Did they give up too much? Did they trade away too much talent, too much potential? They did trade a lot of quantity away, and they did trade away a lot of youth. Undoubtedly, some of these guys are going to have successful careers, and if the Padres, if this doesn't amount to anything, being a title, being an NLCS, even winning the division or competing with the Dodgers on a yearly basis, people are going to have that hindsight analysis and say that the Padres gave up too much. They were on the right path, and then they got rid of some prospects who ended up panning out. If they would have just kept all of them, this is what the team would have looked like. Gotta love seeing those hindsight posts. I think I'm trying to think of most recent examples. I mean, I guess the Padres with some of the prospects that they've traded away in the past, they could say, "Oh, this could have been your lineup." Trey Turner, and there's another name I'm forgetting, a big name that they traded away. But anywho, this is the right move at the right time. They're in contention. It's a condensed season. They're on fire. There's no way around that. They're trying to catch that fire in a bottle, basically, by going out and getting these guys that definitely make the team better and make them more of a contenders. When you're in the position to make a move to get to that next level, you got to take it. I was for trading, um, even some of the top Padres prospects to go out and get the big names because they're so close this year. They're right there. I don't know if they're better than the Dodgers yet, but they're definitely can put up a fight. And same thing against the Cubs. They're right there, and I do like their chances because of the energy that the team has. I believe they've scored the most runs in baseball right now. They're second in home runs. A few within the last week. Tatis put one on the Western Middle Building roof. Then Machado went back to back after that. Machado hit 3 home runs in one day on that doubleheader. He was NL Player of the Week again. He's gone back to back weeks NL Player of the Week. Machado. Think about that. Everybody's talking about Tatis. The whole baseball world's talking about Tatis. And Machado quietly, well, in San Diego, hard to say that it's quiet, but he's won NL Player of the Week on back-to-back weeks. Danielson Lamet is pitching great. Paddock seems like he maybe got his groove back with his last start. Last night, was it Wade Davis? Had a great outing. Padres, shut out the Rockies last night and just cruised to a win. So the team is peaking. They're bringing in better players. They're right there. They're the talk of baseball. I believe the Cubs and the Dodgers have more wins, but everybody's talking about the Padres, and it's super exciting. So they're right there. Preller, Rockstar GM, which I'm not a huge fan of that label. I feel like everybody thinks it's an obligation to say, oh, Rockstar GM, he's going on a bender. Like, look at his disheveled picks, which, I mean, I guess I get a kick out of, but it's getting a little tired doing it every single time. Like, maybe come up with a new angle. I don't know what that angle is, but the current angle is getting a little tired. Anywho, goes out, gets all these guys, and basically, puts all the chips on the table. We got some prospects by trading away Shields, obviously, and so he's not a prospect, but trading away some guys that we thought were going to make us contenders the last time we did this, and we just bided our time. The Padres bided their time, and now they're going for it. And it does cost a little more to get what you want in return, but when you're right there, I'm willing to pay that price. If you play the game the way it's supposed to be played, building up the farm system, developing them over years and years and years, hopefully you get the right batch of them that peaks at the right time. Maybe you can make a run. I think like the Florida Marlins way back kind of had that when they won their title. But I can't really think of another example where, a team has kind of built from the bottom up. And then after that, all their guys left, and look at the state of that team now. It's very rare that happens. The Padres kind of have this like hybrid where they brought in some guys like Hosmer. They definitely paid up for Machado, and they have some youth, some homegrown talent like Tatis, which wasn't even part of the farm system. The reason they got him is because they traded away another piece that they kind of maybe overpaid for with James Shields. So, all that being said, when you're on the verge of making it, you may have to overpay to get to that next level. And regardless of whether or not, this pans out and whether or not some of the pieces that they traded away amount to anything, it's the right move, because if you continue to play the game the way it's supposed to be played, You know, I think of blackjack, right? Blackjack kind of has a, it's not really um, a set of rules. I think it's just called basic strategy. When to hit, when to double, when to do all that. It increases your chances of winning in that one, in that one sitting. You might get hot, but if you play the game over and over and over again, no matter what, the house is going to win, right? And I see that, with the Padres, if they keep holding on to this youth talent, um, not trading them away, not cashing in these chips, and trying to go out and maybe overpay a little bit to get a veteran, somebody that makes the team better now. Eventually, the house is going to win. Not all these prospects are going to pan out, regardless of how long you hold on to them. Switching teams for these guys may be, what boosts them to get to that next level. Maybe if they stay in the Padres farm system because they're comfortable, they just never develop into what their potential is. So there's a lot of factors, but if you continue to just grow that youth within the farm system and hope they pan out, eventually their contracts are going to run out. A lot of those guys just aren't going to pan out because of the statistics. Even top prospects, maybe if you have like 20 top prospects, maybe one of them becomes an all-star talent for a single year. We got the Padres got super lucky with Tatis, but it just doesn't always work out that way. And meanwhile you have like teams with bigger payrolls, the Yankees, the Angels, the Dodgers, the Cubs. They're just going to keep buying players, free agents, and they're going to keep winning because they have deeper pockets. So if you keep playing the game the way it's supposed to be played, the house is going to win. And the house in this case is the teams with bigger payrolls. The Padres have expanded their payroll. However, they don't have the deepest pockets by any means. So this is their chance. Preller pushed those chips into the table, went all in. They got an arm that's going to make the team better. They got a catcher that can hit. And yeah, they're right there. The lineup looks great now, and a lot of excitement in the city. Playoffs are almost here, and Dodger fans can hear little brother punching up, you know, and I can't wait for these playoff series. It's gonna get really exciting. Hopefully, hope we can see this season out through the end. Hopefully, the players are being smart and protecting themselves and staying focused on the game, which it seems like they are. So, go Padres, go San Diego. Really, really excited for what the remainder of the season is going to bring. Tomorrow, well, when we talk with Jeff, we'll talk about there was a few games that were postponed because of a strike, really, because of what is going on in the world right now with the protests, and I'll get into it more with Jeff. We're going to talk about what happened with the NBA, how that started off some protests within baseball. Get our thoughts on that. I think you guys, regular listeners, have kind of known our general thoughts on it, but we'll get into more specifics. With Jeff, that's probably a better group discussion or duo discussion. We'll talk NBA playoffs. I mean, I'll just touch on it briefly right now. Games kick back up after the boycotts. So the teams that have moved on so far: the Clippers, the Lakers, the Celtics, the Raptors, the Heat, and the Bucks. We got 2 Game 7s from round 1. It's Houston versus Oklahoma City, and then Denver versus Utah. I think Denver, Utah is tonight, and then Houston, Oklahoma City is tomorrow. So right now the series are Celtics Raptors. Boston cruised in game one. They're up 1-0. The Heat and the Bucks. I can't. That game was last night. I think the Heat won. I missed it. I was following along on Twitter. I tried to put on the game, but my daughter had other plans. Anywho, so that game's going. And then we have the Lakers waiting for the winner versus Houston, Oklahoma City, and the Clippers waiting for the winner of Denver versus Utah. So that's where we're at with the NBA. We'll talk on that when Jeff comes in. There's a Formula One race. Oof, I've been hyping it up. I'm sorry. If anybody watched that race, the track was great. Maybe that should be what I do, and just root for the track. Ferrari is doing terrible. Just root for the track. The track to win. The track did not win. I mean, it looked great, but Hamilton had his way. He cruised. He now has a 47-point lead, pretty much insurmountable. There was some pretty good battles for middle of the pack. Most notably the Renault team. Daniel Ricciardo finished fourth. Esteban Ocon finished fifth. One of their best finishes, fourth and fifth. But I mean, the main story is just Mercedes dominance and Ferrari. I think they both finished out of the points, and they didn't even have any problems as far as like incidents or punctures or anything. The problem is the car itself. They just had no speed down the straight. It's really, really sad. And there's basically 3 Italian Grand Prix coming up, which hasn't been done for who knows how long. So the infinite tour of sadness that is Ferrari's march through the Formula One calendar is going to come to its home country, a country in need of something to be positive about. And maybe they could pull off a podium finish. I think that's their target at one of these Italian races. It would be nice to see. However, I'm not optimistic about that. Again, catch a race if you can. Maybe look for a wet race. I'll try to keep accurate forecasts. It was supposed to rain for this race, and I think it rained within the hour after the race finished. Of course. So anywho, I'll try to keep you guys in tune. But just have it on your radar. It is a great sport. Maybe not next year, but when the new regulations kick in 2022, which seems so far away after how long 2020 has been, that's when things will really get interesting. There should be more competition. So fingers crossed. We'll see. And we got fantasy football coming up. I think today there's 8 days until no. I think there's 9 days until there's 8 or 9 days until football season kicks off next Thursday. Not 2 days from now, but next Thursday. Chiefs, Texans. So yeah, fantasy football drafts are coming. I've been drafting like crazy on Underdog. I really like that site. No, they're not a paid advertiser. We have netted exactly like negative $300 in this podcast. Thereabouts, and I haven't even upgraded my laptop. Still using my same laptop from when I was in college. It's like 2008 or 9, I think I got it. So yeah, and it blue screens every now and then. So yeah, maybe needing to do an upgrade at some point. So yeah, we really appreciate your support to grow this. It is more of a hobby, but yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be nice to have some better equipment. It'd be nice to maybe get some beer money out of this. get a couple hundred listeners per episode, that'd be awesome. And we can up our production value here. I do zero editing, but yeah, it'd be nice to make it more serious. But there are some expenses that come into this that I didn't know about. I had to buy like a file conversion software, which wasn't too bad, and then also hosting. Host the sites charge to host your podcast, which I knew about. So there's that cost, and then like the website and that sort of thing. So there are some minor costs involved. Anywho, anywho, but I appreciate you guys listening. It's just I just kind of sharing with you the behind the scenes, the behind the scenes. It's been fun. It's been fun. We're doing this more for fun anyway. Um, but yeah, yeah, your likes, your sharing, all that could go a long way to making this thing better. Is all I'm saying. So, anywho, but yeah, back to sports. Stick to sports. Fantasy football drafts coming up. We've got our draft slot. I'm picking at the 12 seed in my home league, the league that kind of started this thing off. Pretty excited about that. I had the option of going with a 3 slot, well, anywhere between 3 and 12. And I usually draft at the top of, I usually go for the highest draft spot available. And I think this year there might be some benefits of being at the back end of the snake. And, I just wanted to mix it up. And plus, having the 3 slot available, may contribute to my brand, but I also have this war going on with the simulation that may or may not be controlling us all, and that was a trap. If you're going to fight the simulation, everybody knows you got to be unpredictable. So I went with 12. Gonna mix it up, see what happens. Plus 1 plus 2 equals 3. So there you go. Brand's still strong. Brand rep's still strong. It threw some people off. I know that 12 spot usually has someone else's name on it, so I took it. And yeah, I just like the options you can do at the back end of the snake. I feel like if you're at the top end of the snake, it's kind of implied that you go RB. With our league, it's a little different because we're super flex. You can start 2 quarterbacks, so things could get a little more interesting. It sounds like one of the guys at the top end of our draft is going to go quarterback. So, however, I just think, if it were me, I'd be married to a running back, and then your season is kind of locked in, predicated on a high injury position and that guy making it through the end of the season. Which is, it's a solid strategy. If you're, if Christian McCaffrey plays a full season, pretty good chance that the team that has Christian McCaffrey is at least going to be in the playoffs. Same thing with Saquon Barkley, Ezekiel Elliott, a lot of those top guys. You're pretty much stamping that with your first pick. However, if that guy goes down, you're kind of screwed. It's what happened to me last year. It happens to me a lot. My first round picks usually get injured. Anywho, so at the back end, I feel like you do anything you want. And you can kind of just let the draft come to you. That's kind of what my strategy is. You can't really have a set strategy being at the back end. It's just keeping your options open, and I feel like that's when I do the best in drafts instead of going in there with a mindset. The position is just seeing how it plays out and reacting, and then plus being at the back end of the draft, maybe a little less sharky. Except now it's more sharky since up there, right? Anywho, really excited for that. So I have that draft, and then my longest running fantasy football, which is maybe not necessarily with friends or it's with former coworkers. And I do consider them friends, but they're not in like my tight friend circle. And that one's it's a cash league. So I won it 2 years ago. I usually finish second or third. Had quite a few of those, probably half the time. I'm in the top three, but only won it once. I got the 2 spot in that draft, so I'm looking running back. The guy in front of me is the commissioner. He's a pretty. He usually has a pretty traditional strategy. So, I see him going Christian McCaffrey right at the bat. I'm probably going to get Saquon. So, be looking at who comes back to me in the second round. Maybe grab a quarterback. It just depends. Just want to kind of keep it different. I don't usually subscribe to the kind of straight strategies like draft all the running backs again early, or go zero RB, nothing but wide receivers, and then target these running backs late. I usually just look at who's available and see what works best for my team at that time and try to get the best players. So maybe a little bit boring strategy, but I feel it's the most successful. Instead of being married to a certain strategy, maybe that works if you play, hundreds of leagues. But if you're just playing a few, I think you just want the best players. And as long as your team has, you're picking what you perceive as the best players, I think you're going to have a pretty good shot as long as you do your homework. So yeah, and I feel like I'm more prepped this year, even though it was condensed. Doing the drafts on Underdog again has been awesome. You can mock on these websites, but like Jeff said before, a lot of people just leave. So, and then since it's a mock draft, people will just be like, "Well, I should probably take this guy because that's what the ADP is saying." Instead of if they're live and if they get there, they don't have a connection with that team, but when they do, when it's a team they're actually gonna have to manage, they'll like start reaching for other guys. So it's a much better practice, really. And some of the leagues are only like $3, and the payout's kind of low. I think those are like $32 pools or something like that, with the winner getting like $20 or something. But it's fun, you get your $3 plays out over the whole season. So it's, I don't know, it's practice. You get a lot of players that you can root for throughout the season, which I love. That's why we love fantasy football. It's the competition element between people that but also being able to root for players and having a vested interest in all the NFL games. So yeah. Check it out. I mean, even if it's, like $10, you can play, or $12, you can play 4 leagues that are last throughout the whole season. You might have a max payout of like $60 on that $12. But if you don't cash in any of them, the most it costs you is for $12. Most it's going to cost you is $12. Again, not a paid advertisement. It's just fun, and that's. And if you haven't tried best ball, it's really low, low cost entry level. Maybe it's a good gateway thing, a gateway drug, but I don't know. It's a good time, and you can upload your ranks, which is a huge game changer. It took a little bit of formatting. It has to be CSV file, and the way I had to do it was had to export their ranks, change them, because I guess there's like each player has a code or something, and that's how their website recognizes which player it is, by that code, not by their name. And so you have to play around with it, do some Excel manipulation, which isn't too hard. You just rank them, sort it, and then take that out and then upload it again. But anywho, so now every draft has my ranks. It's not their ADP, it's my ranks. And the players are in the order that I want them to be in. And so it just makes drafting that much easier. You don't have to search for it. And, yeah, you get better teams because it fits your ranks, not their ranks. So I love that element of it. And then also, you cannot have an app these days without having dark mode. You need dark mode. Underdog has dark mode. Dark mode is, the Padres right now. Drays are the dark mode version of the Padres. The Padres are the standard, white background version of the Padres. That's the version of the Padres that the Friars and all mascots use. They use the regular standard, white background, not dark mode. The Drays use dark mode. You can't look at Tatis. There's no way that guy has the standard setup on any of his apps. It's all dark mode. It's all dark mode. We need a dark mode. Maybe that's what I'll call this episode. The Mixer Dark Mode Edition. Maybe that could be the name when Jeff's not here and his trash takes. The Mixer Dark Mode. Yes. I'm liking this. I think that's going to be it for today. Jeff stood me up, but here I am with you guys. I'll never stand you up. You guys, I love you. I love you all. I love all our listeners. Thanks for your continued support. We are going to have some football to talk about soon. Baseball's heating up. Basketball's heating up. I hope everybody can be safe. Your individual families, all these athletes. We're getting to the fall, right? Next weekend is Labor Day weekend, the unofficial end of summer. Everybody stay safe, be smart, and I'm gonna go get some BFJs. Later, guys. See you tomorrow, hopefully. Yes, I want to end my stream. Yes.